So I was trying to shoot this, and then I got a text message that I got staff duty, which is a 24-hour shift, where you just like watch a desk and blah, 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 blah. It's a military thing. It's like charge of quarters, because there's always got to be somebody there in case there's some type of emergency. But I had 100 and something days left in the Army, and of course they hooked me up with staff duty on the Friday before Christmas. But whatever, man. I'm just going to say fuck these dudes, and I'm almost done. And there's going to be a lot more that I have to say. So with a smile on my face, and without stressing out, I'm going to just talk about some loss in the military and like some things that I regret. So, and I'm going to catalog a lot more of this in long form content on my Appalachian Trail through hike if these powers that be would just release me, because if I could be done with the military, I would be done right now. But it's not that easy. But so years ago, me and my buddy Brendan Titus, we were privates together, and then rolling up through ranks, making it to E4, and like we were running mates, you know, because we all lived in the barracks, single young men. We worked hard, we partied hard, we drank a lot in excess, and just a great dude. And we were definitely two like alpha type personalities. We came from two different, completely different walks of life. And I remember because I was just trying to be like a reformed dope boy from New Jersey, and he was a country boy from Idaho, you know. But we hit it off great. But we would always have like our little arguments and our little frictions and everything. But we were still always cool. And then I remember we ended up in Iraq, and they said that we were going to be. It was my second time in Iraq, and it was his first time in Iraq, and he always had a little bit of a point to prove with that, because I was already like proven, had been over there, was awarded my combat infantry badge and all that stuff, and that's neither here nor there, but. We arrived in Kuwait, and this was the GWA era where there was like no armored trucks and all that, and we were like, had some bombed out, messed up ass vehicles, and we just got the vehicles ready as best as we could. We drove from Kuwait to Baghdad, and then we stayed on the big camp in Baghdad. And then I remember the thing that made us lose our mind a little bit is because I believe it was 11th ACR. I believe out of somewhere in Germany, and we were getting the trucks, and the trucks were riddled with bullet holes, shrapnel holes. They're barely running, and we asked these dudes what happened to these trucks, and they were just like, hey, this all happened in Sadr City, don't go to Sadr City. So when we got to Baghdad, we like signed for our rooms and everything. We're getting laid in, and we just got there, so we hadn't received our mission set. And I remember they told us, they were like, hey, you guys are going to Sadr City for a couple of days, because I was a light infantryman, and they said that the tankers and the Bradleys were going in there, and they weren't good enough on the ground, and they weren't good enough with the actual entering and clearing of buildings. So they sent us the complement, whatever we'll call it, a force package that was operating in that area. So the first night we get there, it's just kinetic. Like, we were going against the Mahdi militia, which was Muqtada al-Sadar's army. I wonder, did we ever kill that guy? That guy should be dead. Ooh, let's not die making a video. Can you please get out of my way? Yeah, so we start going through it, and there's another story I could tell about the interpersonal relationship with what was happening inside my vehicle, but we didn't have enough vehicles to go around to everyone, so we called it hotbed. Like it's like a hot truck, hot swap the truck. So it's like your patrol comes in, my patrol is already geared up and ready, the trucks get fuel. As long as that motherfucker's still running, you can hop your ass right back in that truck and go back out there, because we were trying to saturate what was going on in the city and quell the sectarian violence. If anybody know what that is, it was extremely violent. A lot of executions and things like that happening in the middle of the night. But me and Titus on these steps of this old blown out UN building across the street from a soccer stadium in Sadr City, we got an argument over something so petty as like trash. But, you know, when we argue hard. So like, fuck you, you piece of shit, this kind of stuff like that. And I was like, whatever, and I went up there and I was like, got on my cot and went to sleep. And I know my squad leader, Andre Pookie Rubottom, a different guy that we got to talk about later. I got to think about reaching out to some of these people and changing their names if they're not comfortable with their name being out there. But he woke me up and he said he knew how tight we were, and he woke me up and he was like, hey bro, he was like, Titus is gone. And I was just like, nah, like, you know what I mean? Like, Titus ain't gone, what are you talking about? And he was like, no, yeah, Titus is gone. Because me and him had the same position in the truck. We were gunner guys, like we were machine gunners. So we're up on the top with the 240 machine gun. And the ID went off. And this was when the IDs weren't as big and as dangerous as they became, but they would still definitely kill you. And it was full of ball bearings, and the ball bearings got into his neck and all that. And yeah, so he didn't make it, and then that troubled me for a long time. You shouldn't fight with the friends. You should try not to fight with your friends, and you should try not to fight with people that you love. But I mean, everybody, there's always that high emotional, you know, there's always the potential for high emotional, I don't really know how to word it, but y'all know what I mean. Like, it's the same thing with like a good relationship or a good marriage. It's like, never leave angry, because you never know when you're gonna see that person again. And you never know what's gonna happen when you're walking out the door. And it's apparent to me, and me personally, I lose sight of that sometimes, especially in my personal relationships. But yeah, just don't be like that, and just always try to leave on good terms. And I got it. It can't always happen. In some situations with some people are irreparable and unmendable. But even on that note, I would say if it's irreparable and unmendable, still try to convey that energy, that positive energy. And like, when I'm walking out this door, I love you, I care for you. Because I want, if something is to happen to me, I want to leave this place knowing that I loved you and cared for you. And it's a lot, it's all just a lot to process, but sometimes I sit back and think about me and Brendan's time together. And I just really wish we wouldn't have gotten that argument. Yeah, but have a great week. I kept this down to exactly under 10 minutes, and more to come. Hopefully with some better scenery